Hello, welcome to A History of PMI CEOs and Future Outlook. You might have received the email announcing the departure of the PMI current CEO in December of 2021. Let's take a look at some documentation and understand our journey to this point. It reads, the board of directors of the Project Management Institute stated today that Sunil Prashara, president and CEO, will be leaving PMI on December 31st, 2021. It has been an honor to lead PMI, Sunil said. For the past year, I've been inspired by the heightened focus on environmental, social, and corporate governance with respect to business and investment. And after careful consideration, I have decided to enroll in a full-time master's program at the London Business School. It will demand my full attention, which is why I made the difficult decision to step away from PMI. I love this organization and will miss the amazing people here with whom I have had the privilege to work and collaborate. Let's take a look at the journey to this point. First of all, I will show you a timeline followed by some documentation to back this up. Taking a look at the timeline we have here, we can see that in late 1990s, as PMI put it, Virgil R. Carter became the CEO, and that was for a tenure of anywhere from 3 to 4 years. And that was followed by Greg Balestrero, 2002, all the way to 2011. That is a period of 9 years. Mark Langley took over in 2011, ran the company until 2018. But one small caveat regarding Mark's tenure was he actually joined the company in 2002. So it has been quite a long run for him, to the point of about 16 years. Sunil joined the company March 2019, and it's proposed to remain until December 2021, which is just a little bit over 2 years when you boil it down. Let's take a look at some additional documentation to understand this point. This is the Wikipedia page that lists the time Greg began his tenure. Do recall, though, taking a look at Greg's tenure, that he had an overwhelming amount of experience in similar administrative, financial, and internal affairs in professional organizations. So taking a look at the 9 years almost that Greg spent, there's a small wonder how he was able to stay for that long and have some overarching vision and drive to keep pursuing his goals for the company. Taking a look at this publication that lists Mark Langley as a new president and CEO, you can see that it reads here, the PMI, the largest project management member association, announces that its board of directors has named Mark A. Langley as its new president and CEO. Upon Greg Balestrero's retirement from PMI on 1st of January 2011, Langley has been executive vice president and chief operating officer for PMI since 2002, and his executive leadership and experience provide seamless direction and continued advocacy for both PMI and the profession. Then we go to this next one that announces Mark's retirement. This was in 2018, and it reads, the board of directors of PMI today announced that Mark A. Langley, president and CEO, will be retiring from PMI effective 30th November 2018. I'm honored to have led PMI through the last several years of significant growth as we approach the Institute's 50th anniversary, said Langley. As PMI continues through its digital transformation, this is a good time to begin transitioning to leadership that will drive the Institute to even greater heights in its next half century. And it lists all the great things Mark has done, but do see the wording here. The wording has nothing to do with Mark's overarching life vision or goals. It just says he's leaving and that's it. The language in this publication seemed to point more to a personal preference to leave as opposed to a board of directors preference to leave where Sunil is concerned. And that difference in language should be noted. This is the publication that announces Sunil's arrival at PMI. Project Management Institute today announced that its board of directors has named Sunil Prashara President and Chief Executive Officer. Effective immediately in his new role, Sunil will serve as a lead advocate for PMI's global organization, serving more than 3 million professionals in nearly every country in the world. Working with the board of directors, he will oversee the implementation of PMI's new strategic plan and guide the organization towards a future designed to help millions of project professionals around the world accelerate their careers and make ideas a reality. Let's read this a little bit more. Building on its legacy of 50 successful years of advancing the practice of project management globally, PMI is setting an exciting new course for the next 50 years and beyond, said Randy Black, chair of PMI's board of directors. Sunil's global leadership, expertise in digital transformation, and passion for PMI's purpose made him a natural fit. Now, take a look at the careful language here: expertise in digital transformation and passion for purpose. His leadership will also mark an era of enhanced transparency. Hold on to that word because we'll come back to it. And collaboration. Hold on to that word as well. To galvanize members, volunteers, and stakeholders in support of PMI's work, ensuring that we are, hold on to this word, communicating the impact and value of project management around the world. Sunil brings more than 3 decades of valuable global leadership to PMI with a solid track record of setting strategies, delivering large scale transformation agendas, and meeting growth and profit challenges for international organizations. Technology is transforming the way the world conducts business at lightning speed. I look forward to working with the team at PMI to deliver on a bold new multi-year initiative designed to sharpen the organization's strategic direction, enhance its technological capabilities to embrace shifting workplace trends, and deliver unparalleled value to our members, volunteers, chapters, and project professionals, Sunil said. As a global business leader for large complex companies around the world, I've seen firsthand the power that professional project management brings in making individuals and the organization successful. It says prior to leading the PMI, Sunil served as CEO of an organization out in the UK, a sales accelerator for digital startups. And it goes on to give you some additional information about companies he has held leadership positions in. It reads in closing: as a business executive, he has developed an appreciation for project management expertise and understands from an outside in perspective how PMI can expand its reach globally. In closing, out of this section, I would like you to, for yourself, take a look at some of the highlights of Sunil's tenure at PMI. You can find all of these under the press releases page on PMI's website. Let's revert to our view of being a CEO. Now, being a CEO, especially in an organization like the PMI, requires a lot of toughness. It's a very difficult position, being that you have over 1 million stakeholders to satisfy. It's a role that requires a dependence on a very strong team. The performance of any CEO at PMI is not as a result of their prowess alone, but it also is as a result of the prowess of the team around them. To be perfectly fair, coming into the PMI at the very beginning, there were several agendas that needed to be attended to by other individuals, as you did see in the intro letter. PMI did have an agenda even before Sunil was hired. So he had to run to some degree with that agenda and make things happen. So being a CEO is a call to serve. There are a lot of sacrifices to make, and your life is more in the public eye. There's more scrutiny. PMI is a beast of an organization. You need resilience to lead it. When you take a look at the CEOs from the PMI, is Sunil's tenure the shortest? Indeed. So it's not strange to have a short tenure for a CEO at PMI. The question, though, is how effective has this tenure been? I'll leave it to you at the end to comment in the chat. But let's talk about CEO longevity in retrospect. Short tenures. In the past decade, CEOs have generally led shorter tenures. The average tenure of a CEO has been pegged from anywhere to 4 to 6 years in various documents and studies. Business strategy shows that long tenured CEOs and executives tend to take a longer view, and companies that do that are more successful than companies that are pursuing short term profit. And that is not to say that PMI is pursuing short term profit, but PMI needs to tread carefully in appointing its next CEO. The flip side to this is that long tenured CEOs can become out of touch and past their best before date. Taking a look at Sunil's tenure and some of the ingredients he has brought to the table, one can hardly say that some of the innovations or new ways of doing things at PMI have reached their best before date. Let me be more specific. As we read through that document regarding his arrival at PMI, we talked about transparency, team collaboration, communication. It is fair to say that those targets have started. The constant communication through various media platforms with very rich video content to apprise members of what has transpired should be emulated and continued by any future CEO. So while short tenures are not strange, long tenured CEOs bring some sort of value and some sort of equity to the company. That is not to say that long tenured CEOs are the best CEOs. Taking a look at the duration, the span of time that Sunil has stayed, and taking a look at some of the things that have been brought to the table, what is your opinion? I would like to know that. Some of the things that should be continued are frequent media updates, team transparency that Sunil's tenure did bring to the table. Never before had we seen copious amounts of information shared through media, both written and in video format. Also, never before had we seen a CEO as technology aware and technology driven. In that regard, the PMI did make the right choice, but perhaps there were some other choices that PMI could have made. Another strong point is engaging diverse contributors across the world, not only from the world of professionalism, but also from the world of art and entertainment. And just talking about a wide array of contributors who have added value to the PMI during Sunil's stay is something that future CEOs at PMI should aspire to do. Sunil was faced with a lot of forces from within that were already in orbit, that were already in motion. In my opinion, some of those who were rooted in PMI even before Sunil came might have already been pursuing certain poor choices that resulted in very, very poor outcomes. With that said, wishing Sunil all the very best in his endeavors in the future. I would like you to share your thoughts, share your lessons, share your takeaways and ideas. Hopefully, this will help the incoming PMI CEO.